It's Off the Top Sports Talk.
Welcome to Off the Top Sports. My name is the Big A, Adrian Gonzalez. To my right, we have the Big House, Josh, and to his right, we have the Big Cheeto, Brian Balcito. How are you gentlemen doing today?
What's up, Adrian? How are you?
I'm doing all right. We have a very, very special guest on the phone right now from your Santa Ana Modern Day Monarchs, your USC Trojans, number 11, Heisman winner, Matt Leinart. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm good, man. How you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Better than USC is right now.
Yeah.
Oh, low blow. I'm the Notre Dame fan, and Josh goes with the low blow like that.
Hey, it's just the truth, right?
Hey, it's okay, man. We'll eventually we'll turn it around.
USC scares me every year, no matter who they have.
Well, your initial thoughts on the game, Matt, because they did play pretty well. You know, they didn't finish it, but they played well.
Yeah, I mean, it was, given the circumstances, it was difficult. And I talked to Cody Kessler, the quarterback, last week, throughout the week a little bit. And he was confident in the team that they could go out there and win and play well. And, like you said, I mean, they put up over 600 yards of total offense on a pretty good defense on the road. The problem with USC is they're up front. It's just where they're weaker. You know, offensive line, they've been very average all year long, but the defensive line, they've been ran on, every single week. And that's sort of, the problem they have with the depth issues and just the youth, really. So I thought they played great given the circumstances. No one gave them a shot. And really, they had an opportunity to win that game and close out the game. Just couldn't finish. And, it doesn't get any easier this week against Utah.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that they're favorites against Utah this week. Is that true? Did you guys see that?
Yeah. Vegas came out today. USC's 3-point favorites. I imagine that spread will change.
So if you're a betting man, you wouldn't be throwing a lot on SC this week.
Yeah, no. I mean, I bet by Friday Utah will be favored. I don't. It's funny. We had a conference call today for our Fox Countdown show, and one of our segments is, we'll talk about this game, and that was brought up how Utah came out as underdogs, which is just absurd in my opinion. Now, obviously, I'm a Trojan. I love USC, but there's no way they should be favored in this game.
I mean, I did watch that Utah-Cal game, and if you look at it this way, if that guy from Cal throws one or two less picks than he did, they win that game. And I think Kessler is capable of putting up a similar type performance. Don't you?
I do. I mean, but
it's the defensive side of the ball. It's the defensive side of the ball, really.
It's a big thing. If he doesn't throw picks, he threw 5. And I love Jared Goff. I mean, he's a great quarterback. There's no doubt. But you just can't turn the ball over against Utah. They're too good defensively and offensively with Devontae Booker in that run game. They just pound you the ball. You can't give them, more opportunities with the football. For USC, they have to protect the ball. Cody, when Cody gets time, he's good. He's a good player. Utah's defense is nasty. Their defensive line is nasty.
Yep.
But this game will be close. So there's no doubt. And there's no doubt USC can win this game because they're talented. They just got to be more consistent.
Yeah, Utah looked a little susceptible on the outsides, and USC's still got some talented receivers out there. So I'm excited to watch that game. Yeah, I'm right. You're right. I can't see how Vegas came out with that spread. That's just crazy. But Vegas is rarely wrong like that, right? There's a reason they're as big as they are. Right?
But let's be honest.
I'm not a gambling man. I don't know.
All right.
Let's be honest. How often do you see USC lose 3 in a row?
That's true. It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
I don't remember the last time it's happened.
I don't even think
that was
you
before
did.
your reign, right? That was the Larry Smith days and the Paul Hackett.
It's you know what, man? It's weird because the expectations, the preseason hype, all those things. I mean, and they're still as talented as anyone they'll play. I mean, there's no doubt about that. They just with what has happened in the last couple of weeks, and the schedule, the Pac-12 is a difficult conference to play week in and week out, and it's just kind of one of those seasons where there's a lot of teams, the Oregon and Auburn. There's a lot of teams that disappointed, I guess you could say, and so far USC is one of them. At the end of the day, there's still games. There's still a lot of football left. Anything can happen in that division. The schedule is so hard. It's just going to be difficult to go through with, rest away undefeated.
So, Matt, speaking of the stuff that's gone on the last couple weeks, what's your take on who the Trojans hire going forward?
It's there's a lot of speculation out there, a lot of names being thrown out. That's just what it is right now, though. No one knows who's going to be available, who's going to get fired in the next 2-3 months.
Yep.
That being said, I just think sometimes people get caught up in the coaching trees these guys come from, the experience in the NFL or college, or in this particular case, some people think that the next coach definitely should have USC ties. I don't really agree with that. I think you go out and you hire the best football coach available, and it sounds kind of simple, but
Jim Harbaugh's gone, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of great coaches out there. There's going to be a lot of names thrown out, but it's just Pete Carroll had no ties to USC when he came in, and
right.
He was. Chip Kelly had no ties to Oregon, so there's coaches out there that can go and turn around a program and like at USC, understand the history and the tradition of the football program, but not necessarily have ties from there. So it'll be interesting. I think the research, the due diligence that Pat Hayden and whoever else, if there is anybody else making this decision, that's going to be imperative.
You know what would sound good to me? USC coach John Gruden.
I think he's doing all right over there.
Yeah, every job that comes up, it seems like his name comes up.
Over there, working a couple days a week.
Right.
All right, before we get off the topic, I did want to see how you see the USC-UCLA game playing out this year. I know UCLA's got a little banged up. Should be kind of in it. What do you think about it?
I mean, I don't know, man. It's interesting because, the first couple weeks of the season, both those teams looked unstoppable, especially UCLA. And now the injuries and especially UCLA with Miles Jack and Eddie Vanderdoes, a couple other guys they've lost for the season, it just really affected them. And offensively, they've just struggled the last couple weeks. And both those teams sort of, kind of the wheels are falling off. So, when those two teams meet at the end of the year, both could be, 5-5 for all we know. So there's still a lot of games left. UCLA is a good football team. USC is a good football team. But like I said about USC, these schedules are so difficult. It's so hard to run the gauntlet undefeated. UCLA's got the best of USC the last few years. It hasn't been competitive. So if anything, that game will probably just be about pride. Neither of the teams are playing.
What are your thoughts on the freshman quarterback from UCLA, real quick?
He's good, man. He's talented. He's got an NFL arm already. He's young. There's a lot of potential there. He's slowed down a little bit, but that's expected from a true freshman quarterback in this conference, facing some pretty good defenses. I like him, though. I think he's got a lot of talent. I was watching him beat up, modern-day Monarchs in high school every single year, and he's a good kid. He works hard, and again, that guy, he's a first-round quarterback in a couple of years. There's no doubt.
Yeah, it's like anything. They start getting a little bit of film on him. They see what he doesn't do great, and they're going to try to force him to do those things first. But if they can block for him, he's looking like he's definitely can make all the throws.
Yep.
So, what do you guys have a question for Matt over here?
I'm going to go a little off topic here. I'm going to go. You mentioned modern day right now, and everyone knows that you're a Monarch. How much do you pay close attention to Southern California high school football?
You know what? It's funny. I still follow modern day football, usually on Twitter, just because on Friday nights I'm working. But I'm close with Coach Rawlinson, still the head football coach there, and they're close with the school. I get back there every chance I get. As House knows, we do a youth football league in the springtime. So still have a lot of ties with modern day. It's a close place to my family and I. It was good to us, and the football program's doing great. I know they got beat down by Bosco last week, but
who doesn't these days?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. Bosco's a tough team, but Monterey's playing well. Like I said, I follow them every Friday night. I haven't been to a game in a couple of years, but I try to get out to a game once every year if I can, just to kind of show my support, bring my son. Southern California high school football is, the best in comparison to Texas, Florida, all that. I mean, it's the best in the business for sure.
So I'm going to give a quick shout out to my cousin really quick. He lost to you, and he lost to Reggie Bush in the same year because he played football for Fallbrook. But if any Matt Leinart fans out there listening or watching us right now, if you go to O'Hara's in the Orange Circle, there's still a Matt Leinart modern-day jersey up.
It's not you, though, correct? It is another Leinart. Isn't there another Leinart? Because I asked your brother about this, and he had no idea.
No, I have no idea either.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe it's Ryan's baseball jersey.
No, it's a football jersey
football.
from modern day. But I looked at it; and I think it's a different number than you, and it says Leinart on the back. I was wondering if you had any idea about that. And it's in the Orange Circle here, locally.
I have no idea.
All right, I'm gonna take a picture next time I'm there, and I'm gonna send it to you.
Even I got fooled on that one.
So I have a modern day question too. Just a little scouting report about Tommy Brown. His dad was my baseball coach in high school. Have you seen him play? Do you know much about him, Matt?
I have no idea
He's
who
a
that is.
6'6", 325-pound sophomore lineman. Yeah.
So he's like.
Is he a modern day? He's a modern day kid.
He's at modern day. Yeah.
He's a tackle.
Yep.
Is that him?
Yeah, the sophomore, the big
no,
mouth.
I don't know him at all. I've heard about him. And obviously, I think the first game of the year against Almont was on TV, and I watched that.
Yep.
My dad, Bob still follows the football stuff, so he gives me some of the updates. So apparently, I think he's talked about that kid. Said he's real good, obviously. So don't know much about him, but I hear he's got the size.
NFL size at 16 helps.
Seriously.
Yeah, no doubt.
So did you catch the Michigan blunder?
Oh man, that was one of the craziest endings I've ever seen in a sporting event. We were in studio all day, and got to watch that obviously live. And man, I mean, you can't even really describe it.
Right.
It's one of those things where.
Were any of the commentators you were with from Michigan, by the way? Was there Desmond Howard? Was any of the Michigan guys there, or like watching the game with you, or Michigan State for that matter?
No. We don't have any Michigan guys.
Or Michigan State, okay.
That I know of in our studio, producers and all those guys, but just all fans, in general, and just watching that and hearing.
Did you almost get sick? I mean, I literally almost my stomach dropped as a former player, just feeling for the Michigan offense and defense that fought all game long for that to win, and then have it end like that.
Yeah, watching it happen was just
it's heartbreaking, man. You expect to win, you're favored to win, with the playoff and just kind of everything that is college football now, and to lose like that. I mean,
did you guys have a conversation about what he should have done on that play rather than punt, possibly?
No, I think people think too much. Where they were on the field. You just punt the ball, get rid of it best you can, and maybe at the worst you give them one play to throw 70, 80-yard Hail Mary or do something like that. Obviously, the worst possible thing happened.
Yep.
I mean, you couldn't even have scripted that.
I mean, it's basically that. It's basically that and the Cal band play now. I would say is the two craziest things I've ever seen in my life.
And that kid is no joke when it comes to punting.
He's legit.
He's legit. He punted from the 2 and it went to the 2 once.
So speaking of him, I guess the aftermath is he's fielding some death threats on Twitter and stuff like that from crazed Michigan fan. I know that you played a little bit before, everybody could get at you with the electronics and the social media and all that kind of stuff, but did you ever have any crazed fan experience like that? I mean, that's pretty brutal that fans are getting at him like that.
What? That's taken it to a different level.
Yep.
I think it's it's just uncalled for, man. These people hide behind their keyboards and say what they want to say. I mean, this kid, he's an 18-year-old kid. Like you said, he had a great game. He's a good player for their team. It's unfortunate that happened, but I mean, man, he feels worse enough, bad enough. You don't have to. It's sickening. I think when some of these people say these things, and for me personally, I never had anything obviously that crazy. I've heard pretty much everything you can imagine in the stadium, but never, never any real encounters. I've been pretty smart over the years. I just I don't put myself in a situation where that stuff can happen, especially now being retired. And
Right.
the last thing I'm going to do is go to a bar on college football Saturday and watch games all day and drink. I mean,
You don't think that's a good idea?
That sounds like a good.
You don't think that's a good idea?
That's like an episode of Ballers waiting to happen.
Unless you got me and a few of the boys there.
Hey Matt, we're gonna be cutting soon, but I wanted to give you a few minutes to let us know about the Matt Leinart Foundation and spread any words or websites you wanted to.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Matt Leinart Foundation, .org is the website, and when I was just getting into the league, I'd always wanted to kind of give back and help, and I didn't know to what capacity. But when I was able to be in a situation, a position to give back and use the resources that I have gained, and especially over the years, I wanted to start a foundation. And as you guys know, in House knows, my brother runs it, and we've been doing it for a long time now. And it was always just helping the youth, helping underprivileged kids, at-risk kids, kids with mental illness, whatever it may be. It was just something I just wanted to help in any way I can. So, we have a UIFL program, which has just been great for inner city LA and the kids of Santa Ana, where I grew up. To give back to them and give them just hope and opportunities through football and kind of teach them life lessons. And then we've worked with various organizations over the years and just continue to help and do the best we can. And, it's just something that's small, but it's something that we like to just say, if we had any type of impact in kids' lives, and then we're doing something right, and we've seen some of our kids through UIFL go on to play college. Guys are playing college ball right now, got scholarships. So that's just, it's so rewarding when we see some of the kids that gone through the program, kind of turning their life around and making something out of themselves, So it's awesome, my family's just the love and support I get from them. Guys like House who've been part of it from day one, helping out, and my brother's other friends and all the guys are part of the organization. It's always been, it's just been great, and we're just going to keep it alive as long as we possibly can.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And I can attest to it. I've coached some of these kids in middle school ages, and then in the recent years played against them in high school and seen them play, at varsity levels, when a lot of those kids probably would have never played football because they had no idea what they were doing, never got to play Pop Warner, couldn't afford it. So it is a great program, and much kudos to you, Matt, for doing that.
Yeah, that's awesome
Thank
stuff.
You, man. Appreciate it.
Great
Thanks
job,
for your
Matt.
help too, buddy.
Awesome stuff.
We're off the top sports
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
We got a couple more real quick here. Matt, I did want to play a GM. You play GM for 1 second. I wanted to know, if you were drafting a quarterback right now, what would you be looking for? What attributes were the first things you'd be looking for? Because it seems like it's like a crapshoot with every quarterback these days.
I look at. That's a good question. Obviously, my two favorite quarterbacks right now are Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. So I would look at someone, with the release and the arm strength, which to me is not number one priority, but the release and the arm strength and the accuracy that Rodgers has, the feet, and then someone mentally that can process the information fast, and like a Peyton and then a Tom Brady, and it's funny. I think Tom has just that killer instinct that we see Kobe have, or some of these other guys in difference, where he just got that killer instinct, man, and that's something he's got that it factor. Rodgers has just got that cool confidence, and physically he's as gifted as any player I've ever seen throw a football. It's pretty incredible what he can do, and then the mind of Peyton, man. I mean, physically obviously deteriorating a little bit, but mentally he's still as sharp as ever, and probably the smartest quarterback that will ever play. So obviously those three guys are three of the best to ever do it, but I think you could take a few attributes from all of them and make the best quarterback of all time.
So who are you seeing right now in college that you would be thinking about drafting if you were a GM right now?
Quarterbacks, I like Jared Goff from Cal. We touched on it a little earlier. I think he's got the size and the arm. He's got a big time arm. I like let's see here. Jared Goff is good. There's a kid, Paxton Lynch from Memphis, who sort of made it.
That's the coach that everybody's talking about this weekend after they pulled that big upset.
Yep.
Yeah, he's 6'7", 245, and very athletic. So he's a big physical kid, but he can move around. And he's got a big arm, and he's kind of one of those guys, from a smaller school that's probably going to get drafted in the top few rounds. But he's starting to kind of gain some attention here, and Cody Kessler is a great quarterback. I like him. I don't know, he's a guy that will go to the system and be a backup and learn, and maybe one day be a star. I don't think he's a second round pick. The class isn't too deep this year, to be honest with you. And Jared Goff's a junior. I mean, he could come back for all I know. So, but he would be the number one guy right now, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. And
to see the kid from UCLA catching up quickly, I think.
Yeah.
I know he'll be on high on the draft boards.
Yeah, he's got a couple more years though before he can even be eligible.
So. Yeah. But let's see. You want to do end it here properly?
Well, we're gonna. Sorry, I was looking at my phone. Sorry, Matt. But I appreciate you being on the show. Our guest tonight has been the one and only number 11 from USC, Matt Leinart. Matt, the website again is mattleinartfoundation.org, correct?
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much for being on our show for Off Top Sports.
Thanks
that
a lot,
is Matt Leinart.
Thanks,
thank you for being our guest
Thanks,
tonight.
Matt.
Fight on.